This is the public demo for TechIDManager for June 4th, 2026. TechIDManager is a privileged account management platform, PAM for short, specifically targeted at MSPs, managed service providers, and IT companies. We have several partners that are enterprise IT that run it like an IT company, or an MSP where they have several smaller divisions that they manage, one IT team. It's specifically targeted at providing cybersecurity compliant and safe and secure, easy access for technicians at the MSP or IT company into a variety of infrastructure that they need access into, usually client infrastructure. The way that we do this is we took everything that cybersecurity says you should do for privileged account management, for those admin accounts, for when remote access is needed, for when remote privileges are required. We took all of that and we automated it. What all of those things say is that you should have an account for every person everywhere they need access. These accounts should have regular password rotation. They should be protected. They should be individually named per person, and you should not share these accounts between people. Thus, the stop sharing admin accounts that we have as our logo. This is real straightforward. It's so straightforward that it's often ignored and overlooked until people get into a bad situation where they can't revoke somebody's access because they have shared accounts, or they can't tell who did something because all the technicians are using the same admin account to do things. So when you look at the audit logs or the SIM interface, it just says the administrator did it. What you should really see is a unique account for every technician everywhere they have access. As an MSP, when you have multiple technicians and many places that they need access, the math on that makes it an untenable problem. You'll end up with having to create and maintain thousands or hundreds of thousands of accounts for technicians, all the places they need access. And this problem only gets worse as time goes on and you add clients and you add technicians. The math just gets, geometric math gets more and more extensive. TechIDManager solves that problem and more. We automate all of that account creation, whether it's just in time, whether it's managed accounts, whether they're unique accounts on a Mac machine or unique accounts on a domain or a Windows machine or an Entra ID, where those accounts happen to be. We automate their creation, the management, the enabling, the disabling, the control of that account, what that account looks like, what it has access to, what it doesn't have access to. TechIDManager does all of that stuff. And it does it very effectively and quickly for a technician. That's what we do. That's more of the, a lot of talk about the high level. I am sure you're here to see it, so let's see it. Let's bring it up, talk about what it does, how a technician uses it effectively, and then we'll talk about it from the manager's perspective. TechIDManager really has three things that work together. There are agents that you install that actually make and maintain the accounts. There's the cloud interface, which has all of the manager interface, what managers determine who can see what and who has what accounts. And there's the piece that runs on the technician's computer. Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, provides their credentials at their desk or in the field quickly and easily when they need to use them and helps them use them. This is where we'll start. This is the TechID client. This has in it all the accounts that technician has access to, no matter what type of account, where it is. So we can see this is a domain account unique to an individual that's just in time. This is a Windows account that's shared between multiple technicians. I realize I just said don't share accounts. It's even up there in our little sticker, our little logo. But there are sometimes, because of licensing concerns, business concerns, technological concerns, you actually have to share accounts. So we can take over those accounts and make them as secure and safe as possible and still give you as much traceability as you can get. Lots of different types of accounts. How easy is it for a technician to use one of these many accounts? Well, let's bring up our remote connection tool. I have ConnectWise Control or Screen Connect here. As a technician, I go to log in. I can see that this is the Jeep domain. In order to connect it to the Jeep domain, I need to find my credential. I bring up the TechID client. Somewhere in here, there could be 10 accounts in here. There could be 10,000 accounts in here. There's a credential for Jeep that I'd like to use. I'm just going to click Search Windows. When I click this button, TechID client went on my computer, looked at all the windows I had open, said, well, of all the windows you have open right now on your computer and up and you're looking at, these windows are probably remote connection tools. You are probably trying to connect to these places. And here are the set of reduced credentials that will probably give you access to what you're looking for right now. What it found? This 𝗫.org credential. It says you probably want this 𝗫 credential to log in to that 𝗫 domain in Screen Connect. I do. I could copy this username. I could copy the password. I could go back and forth and copy paste. I don't want to change what's in my copy paste buffer. I just want to directly inject my credential, which is _Martin_Black@𝗫.org, into that remote connection tool. So I click send both. It says, well, choose what window you want to inject it in. I say inject into this window. And then it's going to inject my username and my password and get me logged in. So from the time, as a technician, from the time I faced a login prompt to the time I was logged in was 3 button clicks. I didn't have to look anything up. I didn't have to type anything. I didn't have to remember anything. And I get logged in with an account that has my name on it. It is everything that happens on an account is traced and logged to me as an individual. Here you can see I was logged on before. I got logged back into the same session I was logged on. I can continue working the same thing I was doing before. Nobody else has used this session because it's mine. Everything that's logged is mine. This provides significant benefits when it comes to traceability, accountability, and productivity for the technician. That account, that 𝗫.org account, was a domain account unique to me that's a managed account. We rotate the password. We created that account automatically. TechIDManager did. TechIDManager rotates the password on the account every 24 hours. You can see it was last rotated this morning around midnight. TechIDManager protects that account and makes sure it stays there, stays enabled, stays with the same rights, and doesn't get rights that it shouldn't have. Does everything around that account. And then when, as a manager, somebody decides I no longer need access there, that account is automatically disabled. Whether I'm changing job roles and shouldn't have access there, whether my rights on that should change, TechIDManager will adjust my rights based on my role, or whether I'm fired, then my account there is disabled. All the rights are removed from it without affecting traceability and accountability looking back at that time. Very good privileged account manager for technician access. There's also a complete history on this account. These are my passwords for that machine throughout time that have changed. So if I bring up a backup of that machine to test the backup, I need to get logged in. Say I brought the backup up from 5 days ago on 5/29 at 4 p.m. This is the username and password I can get logged into that machine from that time. We keep complete histories of password changes forever. We keep complete logs of stuff that has happened forever. There are also, so that was a domain account unique to me that's managed. We have a variety of different types, places, and types of accounts that TechIDManager can maintain. We have the domain accounts. We have direct accounts on local Windows machines. We have Mac accounts, and we have Entra ID accounts. We have those 4 places we run agents. All of those agents can do both unique accounts and shared accounts. The unique accounts are accounts that have my name on it, made by TechIDManager, maintained, password rotated, rights set, all that kind of stuff. Shared accounts are accounts that we rotate the password on, and you can choose which set of technicians can see the credentials to get logged in and use this account. And then we can also layer on top of either of those just-in-time. A just-in-time account is one that is not enabled until I, as a technician, want to use it. So at some point in the past, like this Entra ID account here, at some time in the past, a manager said, hey, Martin, you can have an account on this Entra ID tenant. It can have these rights, and it can use it when you want. So when you want to go use it, I just click enable. Sometime in the next 60 seconds, that account will be enabled, created if it doesn't exist, enabled, rights provisioned to that account, a password set on that account, encrypted asymmetrically and sent back end-to-end encrypted so that just I can see it. And as you can see here, faster than I can say that account was enabled. And now I can go use that account wherever that account would grant me access. If that is an account that would grant me access to log on to machines, servers, Entra ID infrastructure, resource groups, whatever. On Entra ID, we can do rights management and group membership management for those accounts. We can also do rights management and group membership for all of the types of accounts. That account will stay in the just-in-time accounts, whether they are on Entra ID, domains, individual Windows computers, or Macs, they will stay enabled for some set amount of time. That time by default is 2 hours, but you can make that as long or as short as you want. After that time, the account is automatically disabled. All the rights are removed from that account. Password is set on that account that is never told to anybody, just forgotten. So that account still exists, but it is as dead as possible. It's important that that account still exists so that the next time I, as a technician, need access to that same place and I choose to re-enable that same account, that same UUID, that same information is re-enabled, and I get to rights reprovision to it, new password set on it, encrypted and sent back to me, so that I get continuity of tracing and logging throughout history. It's not like an account comes away and goes away and you have to figure out who had this account for that time frame. My name's on that account. It's the same account through time that just gets disabled and re-enabled. So all the logging is super consistent. All of that happens automatically in TechIDManager. Something that often comes up is, what if I need to more than 2 hours? Well, when you're nearing the end of that 2 hours, you can just click extend, and that account will be extended for another 2 hours after you click extend. This is very nice. It lets you work short-term, long-term, whatever you want. You can also re-enable it if it gets disabled on you. I think it's a great feature. Anyway, so there's a bunch of other organization you go on. You can put a hierarchical tree structure in place to organize all your credentials in any way that you want. And since we are, as TechIDManager, managing a ton of usernames and passwords, over 100 million credentials across the world right now, since we're managing all of those, we also have password vaulting. We have personal password vaults so technicians put in the credentials they want, and we have shareable password vaults where managers can set up vaults that have multiple credentials in them, and then the asymmetric encryption key for that vault is shared with whatever technicians the manager says can see these vaults. We also do logon requests so that a technician can, without having to enter username or password, go log on somewhere. And we are bringing out elevation requests, which we'll cover here in a minute. So really, that's the privileged account management portion of TechIDManager. We do privileged account management. We do it en masse for MSP technicians accessing client infrastructure. Makes it super easy for technicians to get logged in. We have several mechanisms to log in. We're bringing to market privileged access management also. PAM and PAM, privileged account management, privileged access management. So many acronyms in this space. Some of them that are the same acronym, super similar things, are actually quite different infrastructures and things. So the elevation requests that we are bringing to market are like this. If you have an end user, elevation requests are UAC prompt management for end users controlled by MSP technicians. So as an end user, if an end user goes to run something, as an administrator, they are going to get a request prompt and they can request permission. Any technician that has been assigned control over that machine then sees an elevation request that this machine with this user is requesting to run this executable, and we can see that the cert is a Microsoft trusted cert. As a technician, I can then approve or deny this request. I could call the user, hey, why do you want to run this thing? They could put a reason in. If I approve it, it automatically goes and runs that thing. Oh, yeah. Automatically goes and runs that thing without the user having to do anything else. And then this is run as administrator, even though the user does not have administrative permissions. Nothing else the user does is going to have administrative permissions, just this thing. There's a lot of logging and controls and automatic responses, automatic denials, automatic approvals that you can set up to go along with this. So we can do complete PAM and complete PAM, privileged access management, privileged account management, do them both. That's why we have both logos now. So if you have any additional questions, we would love to talk to you about TechIDManager and PAM. Go to techidmanager.com. In the upper right corner, there is a request a demo button. We can do a one-on-one demo, discuss with you all the things that TechIDManager can help you with as an MSP or as an IT provider. Thanks for being here. Love you. Hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend. Have a great day.